Welcome to Anita Talks History and Genealogy, and I just want to, give a brief shout out to everyone, and as we, you know, sit and wait and see what Trump or his administration is going to do next, and let's be really, really cognizant of our neighbors, um, since they're withholding the SNAP benefits, um, food stamps, or whatever, EBT, and we have children, who need to eat. We have elderly and disabled people who need that assistance. So let's be cognizant of the people who are in our community who are in need of food, and who are in need of, and those who get cash benefits. I don't know if they're cutting those off, but they use that money to pay their rent and utilities, to keep the lights on. Um, so, you know, we need to pay attention to what's going on with the food stamps and see how we can help other churches in the community that will even, help a family keep their lights on and pay their rent. So, there's some times when we need to circle the wagon and do for ourselves what these people are not, going to do. And everyone in this country pays taxes. Everyone. I'm a senior citizen, and they take taxes out of my money. I pay taxes. I pay taxes when I shop. I pay taxes, on my utilities, on my phone bill. There's everybody in this country pays taxes. So don't say, oh, well, you're not working. You're working where? Where? How are you taking care of yourself? You know, it's really sad that because this is a capitalist country, in other words, we're black and brown folks are the capital. You don't believe it? What do you think DEI, when Trump is saying DEI, he's like, dog whistling, as if black folks are taking these jobs. And most of the time, most of the people who are black or brown is working in Silicon Valley are from India. They're not from America. So when he's talking about DEI, he's primarily talking about white women in the workforce, because the DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Do y'all know? Do y'all know there's inclusion? That's a part of DEI. So if it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, that means that, black and brown folks are included, with the white women and the Asians and everybody, that we all should have a chance at those, at those jobs. But that's not what's happening. So they said, okay, when they passed the DEI, when they passed it, they said, good, we'll bring some more brown people from India, because they're not going to include, black and brown people from these United States. They want to keep our people doing the labor, like on the farms, and are being, working at McDonald's or something like that, because this system is a class-based system, but it's based on race. So they put themselves, the white Europeans put themselves at the top, and everybody else in the middle, and us at the bottom. When I say us, I mean, people of African descent, and all you need to be of African descent is one drop. All you need is one drop, but you're at the bottom. And Trump, he feeds off of lying to his MAGA base about us getting entitled about us, somebody giving us something, and we have not received anything from this government. They came here to take. They came here to the, my ancestral homeland here in the Americas, and raped, robbed, pillaged, committed genocide, which, by the way, is still going on against the native people, against my ancestors. And the genocide included paper genocide, where they just, with a swipe of a pen, made native people African so that they could enslave them. So the first slaves here in the Americas were actually the indigenous people, my ancestors, the first slaves. So they never gave us anything. They have done nothing but take from us, took the land, took our lives, took our children, and sent them to mission schools. And the Catholics weren't the only mission schools they sent them to. I have ancestors who were Mohawk, who were sent to Christian schools that were not Catholic. Okay, I have my grandfather and his generation, my mother's father, they went to Quaker schools. Yes, they weren't, the Catholics weren't the only ones that were benefiting. So they were, the Quakers who were living on the land of my ancestors in Pennsylvania, they allowed some of them to attend Quaker school. Bayard Rustin, he attended Quaker school, and he's a relative. His people are related through my mother's father's lines in Pennsylvania. Yes, so he is indigenous. His people are indigenous. They are related to us. You'd be surprised who is indigenous, but and who benefited from our people. But I'm saying that to say that they never gave us anything, our people, not just the indigenous people, the slaves, the Africans they brought over here, the people that they started bringing when we started fighting for civil rights. Then they started bringing other people here from Latin America, from the Caribbean, from Jamaica, and they gave them more rights than we had. That's what they do. I'm not angry about Caribbean people coming here, about any person that they brought here, because I know they brought them here for cheap labor. They brought them here to put them between us and them, because they would do anything other than pay us reparations and other than admit that what they did was an atrocity, was against God, and they used God and Christianity and a white Jesus, or should I say a bleached blonde Jesus, to get there to do, to commit the heinous acts they are committing. That's why it doesn't bother them that the Jews are committing heinous acts against the Palestinians, because those are Ashkenazi Jews. They're not the Jews of the Bible. They're not Christ Jews. Christ's line came out of Ethiopia. They were the Beta Israel Jews. Beta means house. The Ethiopians, they got the Bible there with 88 chapters. That's not the rewritten Bible, that's the Bible. The Ethiopians have it. All of those religions all three of the religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, came out of that Ethiopian Bible. But those who carried Christ's line did not come out of Eastern Europe. The Ashkenazi Jews were converts. So it's a religion. There are always converts in religions. But they're not entitled to be, to claim that that's their holy land in Palestine, in Israel. No. Anyway, I digress. So we need to hold on. I think we're doing a good job. We're minding our own business, and we're sharing and talking. I feel honored to, have made some, friends, and to some of the people that I'm listening to and hearing. We're very innovative. We're able to, rise up and rise above what these folks, are doing. We don't want to be a part of it because their reward is going to come. They have a day of reckoning coming, and I'm not going to be no part of what they're doing. And those of us who sit back and don't speak out against the atrocities that are going on, not only in Palestine, in the Sudan, in the Congo, any of these atrocities that are going on. Right now, this person who is supposedly our president is killing innocent civilians in the Caribbean, blowing up fishing boats. Are y'all paying attention to what's going on? Because he's doing it in our name as the so-called president of these United States. So what do you, in the meantime, and he gave $40 billion to Argentina, probably in the hopes that once he attacks Venezuela, which he's supposedly planning to do, they'll support him. But the Argentina president is a buffoon, like DJT. He's over there dancing. He used millions of the dollars that Trump sent to throw a concert for himself. He's a fool. But yet there's 40 billion tax dollars going to them. There's funds going to Israel to support their genocide against the Palestinian people. But he is blocking the assistance for food to women and children. He's blocking it. But all that, we already knew. We know who he is. So let's just keep the faith and turn around, help somebody in the community who needs food, help somebody in the community who needs to pay their rent and utilities. We don't need any more homeless people in the streets. We've got more than enough. And let's pray for each other and keep the faith, because the old folks used to say, by and by when the morning comes and all the saints of heaven are delivered home. Okay, I hear them. It's coming. Justice is coming. And we don't have to lift a finger, because karma is a bitch. You all take care. Bye.